Hi, I'm Michael Boyajian. I'm going to be talking about one of my new books today, The Story of B. Artin Haig, FDR's photographer. B. Artin Haig started out life in the Armenian genocide in 1915. He was a survivor, as did his sister survive. He survived by hiding under the skirt of his aunt when the Turkish soldiers came to the door. Both his parents were lost to the genocide, and he was sent by Kurds, took him to family members living in Istanbul, and from there the family moved to France and then to Argentina before coming to New York. He grew up in New York. He worked on the stock market and went to a lot of Yankee games and was a big fan of Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. And he wanted to get into photography. And one of his family members, and you'll see this throughout his life, that family members come in and give him a helping hand, which is sort of the Armenian way. No matter what part of the family you're from, you'll help someone who's related to you. It's an Armenian tradition that goes back to the days of Julfa. In any case, he got a job through a relative with the Ziegfeld Follies, being their photographer. Then he moved down to Washington to another family member and got a job with Underwood and Underwood, who was famous for their stereoscopic imagery and became sort of like newsreel photographers back in the days of FDR. In any case, he rose to become the White House photographer for Underwood, and he came into close contact with FDR, which is an incredible thing for someone to have come out of the genocide and to rise to the heights of the United States presidency. Was quite a feat, and he wasn't afraid to talk back to the great president, one of the greatest presidents of all time, actually. And at one point, he told FDR, Mr. President, when I take your pictures, I am the president." And he also one day helped FDR put his cufflinks on. He had a tendency to get mad at in his employers and leave to other jobs. And he was leaving Underwood, and his family member was having lunch with him and said, "Look, you got to come back." And B. Artin Haig says, "Well, why?" He goes, "Well, the president is asking for you. He wants you to be wondering where you are." And so he went back and he photographed FDR for many years. He then, from there, moved around the country. He went to Dallas to a famous photography house there and ended up in Milwaukee and had his own photography studio there, and actually had a number of them after a while. And it's here that he grew a very large family. I think all told, between daughters, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and great-great-grandchildren, he had about 18 family members at one point. His first wife passed away, and then he remarried. And everything that he had lost in the genocide, in the end, he had, which was more important than being FDR's photographer, having a huge family, which was taken away from him in the genocide. Anyhow, that's part of the book. Thanks for listening.